What's up, everybody? Welcome back to SP Capital. Today we'll be covering one of the biggest DPOs in NASDAQ history, and that's Coinbase. Now, Coinbase went public with a ticker symbol COIN. Today, we're going to be going over whether or not Coinbase is a sound investment. I know Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are a very controversial topic, especially for those investors that rely heavily on fundamentals. But at the end of the day, what we want to know is, can our investments make money? After all, that's the essential question anytime we make an investment, whether it's real estate, stocks, or even bonds. Can that investment make you money? All of the questions come secondary. Now, recently, cryptocurrencies, and especially Bitcoin, have seen a lot of adoption, a lot of controversy, and a lot of purchasing, both from retailers and institutions. The theory behind this is that Bitcoin can be a hedge against inflation, it can potentially replace some fiat currencies, and also that it can act as a store of value. Now, whether or not these kinds of theses are correct, that's not what we're going to be debating today. What we're actually going to be trying to answer is, does Coinbase, whose success in part, and in large part actually, is due to the rise in the recent acclaim of Bitcoin and Ethereum, does it separate itself from those two things as a worthwhile investment? And now, we know recently, these last 2 years, we've had an amazing bull run. And often in the bull run, facts can be distorted from fiction. Investors are willing to overlook some really bad balance sheets and some really bad prospects, as long as their investment is making them money. So to give the best possible advice we can, we're going to be looking at Coinbase from a bear point of view. In essence, what we're going to be trying to do is see if there are any bear theses or negative connotations with Coinbase as an investment that would deter us from investing. We'll be releasing another video pretty soon about the positives and about the bull case for Coinbase. But amidst all the controversy, all the hype, and all the publicity that this DPO is getting, we want to make sure that we're able to bring to light some of the lesser known ramifications of investing in Coinbase. After all, it's not just enough to see, can Coinbase as a company keep surviving for the next couple of years? It's important to see, can that company survive in your portfolio? Can it keep adding value to your portfolio? That's what we're going to get down to today from the bear point of view. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that we are bearish on Coinbase, but we'll be presenting what we believe may be some negative points that may deter some investors from investing in Coinbase, or make them think twice about it being a sound investment. So the first thing we have to address with Coinbase is that its success is directly tied to the success of Bitcoin and Ethereum. Those two coins especially. Approximately 80% of all of Coinbase's revenue comes from fees from buying and selling both Bitcoin and Ethereum. The profits attained from the fees collected from buying and selling altcoins or any coins that are not Bitcoin and Ethereum are marginal compared to what Coinbase makes from Bitcoin and Ethereum itself. So what this essentially means is that if Bitcoin and Ethereum are to see a bear market like we saw the past decade before Bitcoin blew up again in 2020, if they are to see another 8 to 10 years of a bear run, that will essentially kill Coinbase's balance sheet. As Bitcoin and Ethereum increase in valuation and in prices, the fees that Coinbase collects also goes up. If you overlay the chart from Coinbase's profits and the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum, it's no coincidence that they're very well, almost 1-to-1 correlated. If we see Bitcoin and Ethereum enter a bear market for any amount of years, it's safe to say that Coinbase's balance sheet will take an equivocal and large hit for that same amount of time. Now, this relies heavily on the fact of whether or not you are a Bitcoin or Ethereum bull. If you believe in the bull thesis for these coins, then you can dissuade this fact and you can be confident in the fact that Coinbase's balance sheet may grow as their fees will grow from Bitcoin and Ethereum. However, if you're one of these investors that are just in these coins for diversification and to take profits, then this is a pivotal question that you must ask yourself and that you must also consider. How can Coinbase increase their profits when the fees that they're collecting for Bitcoin and Ethereum may decrease in the future, especially if we see another multi-year bear run? Now, an important question that you should ask whenever you're about to invest in a company is, what stage is that company at right now? Now, some may say that Coinbase is in fact the email of today. And what this means is Approximately 30 to 40 years ago, the general public would scoff at the idea of investing in a company related to email, or that type of technology would overtake the traditional mailing system that we see today. However, we saw technology catch up, and the fact of the matter is, email is now here to stay, while regular mail is secondary. Many argue that Coinbase's business structure is essentially this: that being a brokerage for cryptos is actually being involved in one of the most influential and potentially world-changing technologies that have yet to blossom. But of course, that's only if you believe this. When you're looking just at the balance sheet, you see that Coinbase is actually just coming off the most profitable quarter and is expected to beat their recent quarter in the earnings that are coming up. Now, many companies tend to do this. After a large run-up, after a very profitable quarter, they often go public knowing that investors have set really high expectations, therefore are likely to buy in and raise their initial stock price. The timing of this listing is also coming in one of the wildest bull runs that any market has ever seen. Therefore, this listing can be seen as a potential grab at the current quote hype behind cryptocurrencies and the crypto markets as a whole. As you know, not just institutional investors will pile in, but also retail investors. Another reason why Coinbase may have DPO'd recently and gone public is because they realized that regulations may be soon to come. Now, this is a topic that many cryptocurrency bulls do not like to address, but it's something that we have to speak about. There's still much contention about how the IRS can address money laundering and taxation within Bitcoin. It is inevitable that Congress and the government will eventually have to step in, and perhaps they will impose restrictions or pass some sort of regulation on cryptocurrencies. This can essentially hit the markets for cryptocurrencies very hard, and therefore, of course, affecting Coinbase and their balance sheet, as well as their future prospects as a company. Becoming listed before any of these regulations actually come to pass is a pivotal point for Coinbase. We can see in the news everywhere, not just the IRS, but the feds are also addressing Bitcoin, and there's great tension between those who support the fiat currency of today and the potential cryptocurrency of tomorrow. Many governments and regulators of these governments, especially treasuries and of course the Fed, do not support these coins, and therefore this can pose a really detrimental effect to Coinbase, as if any regulations are to pass, that may severely hurt how much of Bitcoin is held not just by retail, but by institutions as well. If buying of Bitcoin and Ethereum dry up due to regulations, that can really negatively affect Coinbase. Another thing to address is Coinbase's positioning amongst other cryptocurrency brokers. It is a misconception that Coinbase is the largest cryptocurrency brokerage in the world. That instead goes to Binance. Additionally, they are not the most profitable nor the fastest growing. That goes to Gemini and Binance as well. Instead, Coinbase is the largest cryptocurrency broker in America. But even then, it's very hard for them to maintain their share of the cryptocurrency space. You see, not only are Binance and Gemini catching up to Coinbase, but their customer support complaints, as well as the astronomical fees that they charge, have received negative backlash not just by retailers, but also Bitcoin bulls who have invested early on in the days of cryptocurrency. Adding on to that, you'll see very popular apps like PayPal and Square adding methods that you can buy cryptocurrencies on their wallets. And those platforms are more trusted as a whole to the general public, when you think about PayPal or Square or Cash App, than Coinbase is. Coinbase is kind of seen as a secondary broker, if you will. It's very mysterious to people over the age of 30, or perhaps people who come from the past generations, because it seems almost as if it's an invasive technology or an invasive company, where Square, PayPal, etc., they're trusted amongst not just users, but shoppers and retailers. Therefore, they're biting into Coinbase's cryptocurrency space. Coinbase is losing more and more customers to these companies who charge way less of a fee than Coinbase does. So now the ultimate question, for those who are on the edge of investing in Coinbase, now ask yourself, if you really believe that Bitcoin is the technology of the future, and cryptocurrencies can essentially replace fiat, and that the bull thesis for these cryptocurrencies is as legit as they say, then which is more likely? Will Bitcoin double in the future? Or will Coinbase, who closed today on its first day of being on the market at a price of almost $330, will it double before in Bitcoin? Is Bitcoin more likely to reach a price of anywhere between 115 and 120,000, or is it more likely that Coinbase reaches a price of 640 to 660 before that? Now, whichever one you believe after looking at their balance sheets and of course doing your own due diligence, that would obviously be the smarter investment. Coinbase isn't doing anything to revolutionize technology. They are in fact just a brokerage. So if you believe in the technological thesis and the fact that Bitcoin can and will affect the future, then it appears that cryptocurrencies as a whole are a way better return on investment than Coinbase. Also consider this: in order for Coinbase to double, they'll essentially have to increase their customer base, at least the amount of orders that flow through the system, by roughly 70%. Now, can Coinbase increase that within the next year? Within the next 2 years? As a matter of fact, even if you double the amount of people and institutions that are buying cryptocurrencies tomorrow, even if the entire planet were to get into purchasing Bitcoin, Coinbase would only play a small portion of that, as they're the largest here in America, but around the world, Binance and Gemini easily overtake them. So yes, while cryptocurrencies may grow in America, Coinbase may increase their user base, but around the world as cryptocurrency is adopted, Coinbase is facing more and more competition and is losing more and more of their user base towards those brokerages. And finally, Coinbase just carries a lot of risk, as with any freshly listed stock, and we recommend patience before buying it. Of course, no one can time the market, but if we're to give a final nail to this bear thesis, is that at its current closing price of $328, it's not yet a buy. According to the financials and their projections on their user base in the future, a fair evaluation of Coinbase will be anywhere between $140 to $180 per share. But it has to be said, in today's bull market, anything can run. Which is why we'll see you next time on our next video about Coinbase, where we shoot down this bear thesis and we instead try to approach it with a bull thesis. And we see exactly what can Coinbase do to not just justify the evaluation today of closing at $330, but also potentially increase their stock price and their market cap as a whole. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We hope you enjoyed. Do you think Coinbase is a good buy? Let us know in the comments below. Do you think cryptocurrencies are a bust? We'd love to have your guys' opinion so we know what to talk about in the next video. It's also good just to interact with you guys in the comments. So please let us know your thoughts, like the video, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day. Stay safe.